Hi, this is Carol Stiles from HealthyKitchens.com at the Bosch Kitchen Center. We are going to do a little comparison of our two heavy-duty, high-powered blenders. On the left here we have a Vitamix 750, and on the right we have the new Liquip RPM Smart Blender. You can see both bases are about the same size, about 8 by 8 inches, so not terribly big. This one weighs a ton. This one's about half as much weight. They've got a metal finish or steel finish on the outside. This one is a polycarbonate finish on it. But the difference, as you can see, this is fully electronic here, has a smart app on it, a lock, child lock on it, lots of other different settings that are set right into it, like a smoothie setting or making hot soups. This one also has 12 speeds, exactly the same, and then again 5 settings over on this side for doing smoothies or mixtures like soup or making the frozen things with the tamper stick. The containers are very similar. This one is an 8-cup blender. It's a more squat blender, wider, and the blades especially are different. They are only 4 stainless steel blades in here, and they're very flat. Okay. Now we find you get a little different mixing action with this. You're going to see that with a little test we're going to run here. You get a higher vortex when we work with the taller blender, and with something with a few more blades. The Liquip blender, as you can see here, has 6 stainless steel blades and a taller container, but it's still 8 cups. One of the big differences I've noticed is on the bottom, the whole drive of the Liquip Smart Blender is all stainless steel, where on the Vitamix, we can see that it's not, it's plastic. This is a much lighter container than this one is too. So a heavier base, lighter container, and vice different here. It's a lighter container, heavier base. All right, we're going to do a little test here. I've got 4 cups of water, and I'm just going to pour the water into the blenders. And we're going to see what kind of action we get with the 2 types of blenders, okay? The one that's squat here with the 4 blades, the Vitamix, and then the one that's taller here with the 6 blades. When you're making smoothies, especially, which is one of the main things that people like to do with these high-powered blenders, that's kind of an important thing, that you see how the action is. We found that we get a much smoother, creamier texture with this particular one once we've been using it. Now, this one has a child lock button. I want to make certain that that's inactivated here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to pick speed 12 on both blenders here. We turn it on, because there's a turn on button at the back end. So we've picked speed 12 on this one, and this one here we're going to get rid of the child lock and pick the time. I'm going to let it run maybe about 20 seconds, there we go. And we're going to run it on the highest speed, which is speed 12. So we are actually setting this in, and it'll count it down as we're going. This one's already set. We're just going to push the on buttons here at the same time, and you can see turns off automatically. I think you can see on this one we're getting a lot of splashing, a lot of foam produced in here. This is coming up higher in the blender. We tend to get a little more tornado-like action or spiral type action into it, and that's one of the reasons we get a smoother texture from the smoothies in this one. We'd like to show you a little difference between the 2 blenders doing something else. We've put an apple in each one of them. But before we go, I wanted to say a few things about the power on them. This is a 1 1/3 horsepower. This one here is put in wattage at 14,000 RPMs, 1400 RPMs. This is going at 30,000 RPMs when it is turning, and this one's about the same, 30,000 RPM. So you're getting a similar type of speed. They're very similar in the way that they do many of the things. I did notice though that the blades on the Vitamix are sharper, but they're longer and narrower. We actually cut ourselves cleaning it. Found that didn't have that happen with these more blunter blades, but like I said, these are 6, and in this one we have 4. One of the other things I want to mention is the price point. We sell the Liquip Smart Blender about $100 to $200 less than what a Vitamix is going to sell for, and yet we have a very similar product. Anyways, I'd like again, like I said, show you how we work this unit doing some apples, and we're going to just do this again at a fairly high speed, about an 8 or a 9 on it here. I'm going to give it 10 seconds and at speed 9, and this one here also is on speed 9, and we'll see how it works. I'm going by the countdown clock. Now you can see in the Vitamix here, the apple didn't even get mixed up at all. It's still fully in full shape, 1 unit. You know, this is important because when you're using one of these high power blender, one of the things we really like doing is making apple or juice from the raw vegetables, so raw fruit juice or raw vegetable juice. And if the items will not get chewed up by the blender without putting a whole lot of water in it, that's really a sign of how the blender is working. But you can see here on the Liquip blender, we've actually got applesauce in here already. And we could put a little more liquid in there and let it go for a little longer, and we'd have applesauce completely. But like I said here, we found we got a lot better results from our Liquip blender than we did from the Vitamix. Again, if you're interested, you can give us a call. We can talk to you more about this. Our toll-free number is 1-888-735-1044. Thanks again.